It's time to finish up Quick Start Guide for the Science of Getting Rich. So if you have missed some of these, go back on my channel. I should have a playlist for this particular book. Conclusion. Well, there you have it, my Quick Start Guide for the Science of Getting Rich. It has been an absolute pleasure sharing this life-changing information with you, and I look forward to the day we can do it again. If this book has left you feeling 5 stars, I'd really appreciate you leaving 5-star reviews for it on Amazon. It will help me help others, and through the law of reciprocity, it will help you as well. I sincerely hope you found this book to be helpful and wish you absolute best with your study and application of Mr. Wattles' writing. If you're interested in learning more about his writing and how to apply them to your life, I invite you to check out the other books I write and publish on Amazon. To your success, A. Vincent Marshall. Apodex. Resources. Links to resources you might find helpful. American Dictionary of the English Language, 1928 edition. The 1928 edition of the Noah Webster's American English Dictionary is one of several dictionaries I used in my studies of Mr. Wattles' writing, and it's particularly important one as it was used in Mr. Wattles' day and thus defines words as he might have used them. And I don't know how easy it will be to see the link. It's http://1828.mshaffer.com. Gross Up Calculator. If you live and work in the United States and work for someone else, you can use this calculator to determine how much gross income you need to earn a specific amount of net income. http://www.paycheckcity.com/calculator/gross up. Reminder, this site doesn't like ad blockers, so if you use one, you may need to disable it for the site in order to use this calculator. If you live and work somewhere else, a search of the internet may uncover a similar tool for your area or the information necessary to accomplish the same end manually. How to Get What You Want. This book by Wallace D. Wattles, together with his book Making the Man Who Can Fill in the Missing Pieces of the Science of Getting Rich, rather nicely. And there's some affiliate links to find that book. Making the Man Who Can. This book by Wallace D. Wattles, together with his book How to Get What You Want, fills in the missing pieces of the Science of Getting Rich rather nicely. And then, again, there's some affiliate links. Note, the links to this book are for the U.S. Amazon store. For all other Amazon stores, it's telling you what to search. Oxford Advanced American Dictionary. The Oxford Advanced American Dictionary is another of several dictionaries I use in my studies of Mr. Wattles' writing. Although I intend for learners of the English language, I like its simple definition and clear, concise examples. http://oaadonline.oxfordlearnersdictionary.com. The Law of Opulence, which I did a couple of videos on. A series of 3 articles in which Mr. Wattles explained competition versus creation better than he did anywhere else. And then there's some affiliate links here. The Science of Getting Rich. The edition of The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles I recommend is available on Amazon. So again, the author's filling in some affiliate links. About Wallace D. Wattles. Unfortunately, although he wrote some of the most powerful, life-changing books and articles ever written, very little is known about the life of Wallace D. Wattles. We do know he was born in the United States around 1860 and experienced a life of failure after failure until, in his later years, after tireless study and experimentation, he formulated and put into practice the philosophy he later wrote about in his books and articles. Perhaps the most accurate portrait we have of the man, one that tells us what's truly important to know about him, was written by his daughter Florence in a letter to Elizabeth Town, his primary publisher, shortly after his untimely passing in 1911. Here are excerpts from that touching letter, which were published in the later edition of Mr. Wattles' book, The Science of Being Great. My dear Miss Towney, your letter of the 14th received, perhaps a little later, I can write the romantic story of my father's life and make it really worthwhile. You knew, didn't you, that he lost a good position in the Methodist Church because of his heresy. He met George D. Herron at a convention of reformers in Chicago in 1896 and caught Harrison's social vision. I shall never forget the morning he came home. It was Christmas. Mother had put her last dollar into a cuff box, and we had placed it beneath an evergreen branch, which served for our Christmas tree, and which we had illuminated with tallow candles and strung with popcorn. Finally, Father came. With that beautiful smile, he praised the tree, said the cuff box was just what he had been wanting, and took us all in his arms to tell us of the wonderful social message of Jesus, the message which he later embodied in a new Christ. From that day until his death, he worked unceasingly to realize the glorious vision of human brotherhood. For years, his life was cursed by poverty and the fear of poverty. He was always scheming and planning to get for his family those things which make the abundant life possible. In the first chapter of The Science of Getting Rich, he says, a man's highest happiness is found in the bestowal of benefits of those he loves. The supreme faith of the man never left him. Never for a moment did he lose confidence in the power of the master intelligence to right every wrong and to give every man and woman his or her share of the good things of life. When we came to Elwood, Indiana 3 years ago, Father began a Sunday night lectureship in Indianapolis. This was our only source of income. Later, he began to write for Wallace and to word out his own philosophy. He wrote almost constantly. Then it was that he formed his mental picture. He saw himself as a successful writer, a personality of power, an advancing man, and he began to work towards the realization of this vision. He lived every page of the science of being great. In the last 3 years, he made lots of money and had good health, except for his extreme frailty. I've written this hurriedly, but I think it will give you an idea of the life struggle of a great man, his failure and success. His life was truly the powerful life, and surely we can see, at least in Elwood, the name of him who loved his fellow men led all the rest. With all good wishes, I am very sincerely Florence A. Wattles. Although very little is known about his life, I, like so very many others who studied and applied his philosophy over the years, am so grateful Wallace D. Wattles lived and wrote down. About A. Vincent Marshall. A. Vincent Marshall is a serious student of the works of Wallace D. Wattles, who's best known for his classic masterpiece, The Science of Getting Rich. After reading The Science of Getting Rich, he enjoyed more financial success in just a couple of short years than he did in his previous 30 years combined, following Wallace D. Wattles' philosophy. Nowadays, after retiring early, he enjoys sharing Wallace D. Wattles' writing and what he'd learned and continues to learn from them with others through the books he writes and publishes on Amazon. Other books from A. Vincent Marshall. For the latest offering, please visit his Amazon authors page. So, I mean, that's easy enough to just search. So hopefully you found some value in the quick start to the science of getting rich, kind of a complimentary or a, study guide that goes alongside the science of getting rich. So thanks and have a good day.